If you're watching this, you're likely stuck in the financial equivalent of a boot loop. You earn good money, maybe six figures, maybe close to it, but every month the bank account resets and the balance is never where you think it should be. You have the skills, you have the work ethic, but the wealth simply isn't accumulating. I know this feeling. I've been there. For years, I was running highly volatile IT systems for major corporations, optimizing their server load, ensuring their uptime was 99.99%, but my own personal financial system, it was a disaster. It was noisy, riddled with errors, and consistently running out of resources. I realized that wealth building isn't about luck. It's about system architecture. You need a blueprint. This is the exact three-phase system I used to go from virtually zero net worth carrying painful amounts of consumer debt to achieving my first $100,000 in investable assets. This $100,000 marker is crucial. It's not the finish line. It's the point where compound interest finally takes hold and your money stops feeling like it's jogging and starts feeling like it's sprinting. It's your minimum viable product MVP for wealth. We are going to treat your finances like a high-stakes IT project. Phase 1, diagnosis and resource allocation, $0 to $10,000. The first step in any major system overhaul is a comprehensive system audit. You cannot fix a server you haven't fully scanned. Most people are afraid to look at their bank statements and credit card bills. They treat them like toxic waste. You need to treat them like diagnostic reports. Pull the data. Every single transaction. The goal of phase 1 is twofold. Stop the bleeding and install a rudimentary defense system. First, the bleeding. We are looking for what I call memory leaks. In computing, a memory leak is when small pieces of memory are allocated but never properly released, draining the total available resources over time. In finance, memory leaks are those small, invisible, recurring expenses that drain your checking account RAM. I'm talking about the $9.99 streaming service you haven't used in 6 months, the $7 daily coffee habit, or the endless small Amazon purchases that feel cheap individually but add up to hundreds a month. When I did my initial audit, I was shocked. My memory leak totaled nearly $600 a month in low-value subscriptions and impulsive takeout. $7,200 a year, just gone. That's enough to fund a significant chunk of phase 1. You must identify and patch these leaks immediately. Start tracking every dollar you spend for 30 days, not just mentally tracking, physically logging it. Use a spreadsheet, use an app, I don't care, but the data must be visible. Once you see the precise location of the leak, you apply the patch, cancel, downgrade, or ruthlessly eliminate, pattern interrupt. Think about the last time you bought something that you honestly, truly did not need. That fleeting moment of pleasure, was it worth delaying your $100,000 goal by another month? Probably not. We have to change the equation. Next, we address the bloatware is software that comes pre-installed on your machine that you never asked for and never use. Yet it slows down your entire operating system. For many of us, bloatware is the lifestyle creep that comes with salary increases. We get a raise, and suddenly we feel obligated to get the newer car, the bigger apartment, or the trendier restaurant experience. You are upgrading the exterior without upgrading the core financial architecture. Downgrade your lifestyle back to baseline, temporarily. If you can save $500 a month by being slightly uncomfortable for 12 months, that is $6,000 you just injected directly into your wealth engine. Now, the defense system, the financial firewall, before you pay off a single dollar of non-mortgage debt aggressively, you must cash $1,000 to $2,000 in readily accessible cash. This is your high-priority security patch. Life throws zero-day exploits at you: the sudden car repair, the unexpected medical bill, the furnace breaking down in February. If you don't have this small cash buffer, these crises forced you to use high-interest credit cards, throwing you right back into the debt trap. A $2,000 firewall means when the unexpected happens, Your system handles the stress and continues running smoothly instead of crashing entirely. By the end of phase 1, the goal is $10,000 in total liquidity, $2,000 in the firewall, and $8,000 either saved or applied to aggressively paying down high-interest debt. The key is stopping the outflow and stabilizing the system. You've performed the initial system reboot. Phase 2, debugging and optimization, $10,000 to $40,000. Phase 2 is the grind. This is where most people quit because the immediate gratification disappears and the work gets heavy. The focus shifts from stopping the negative flow to engineering positive, sustainable flow. We need to debug the legacy code and increase our processing power. The legacy code in your financial life is your high-interest debt, credit cards, personal loans, high APR, car payments. This code was written a long time ago, perhaps by a financially less mature version of yourself, or perhaps it was inherited through cultural habits. It is slow, inefficient, and actively costs you money every second it runs. We need to refactor this code entirely. You have two primary debugging methods: the snowball emotional satisfaction or the avalanche mathematical efficiency. If you need quick wins for psychological momentum, use the snowball. Pay off the smallest balance first, gain confidence, and roll that payment into the next smallest. But if you have the discipline, use the avalanche. Attack the highest interest rate first, regardless of size. This method guarantees you pay the least amount of interest over the long run. Maximizing your efficiency, we must prioritize debugging before optimization. Why? Because carrying high interest debt is the equivalent of running a powerful CPU while simultaneously running a crippling background process that eats 25% of your resources. You can't invest effectively if the interest rate you're paying is higher than the return you might get. This is financial friction. Eliminate it. The $10,000 to $40,000 mark is primarily dedicated to debt eradication and building a fully funded 3 to 6 month financial firewall. Let's talk about increasing your processing power, your CPU cycles. Your current job or primary income stream is your main processor. If you want faster results, you need a faster processor. This means skill acquisition. What is the highest value skill you can learn in the next 12 months that directly increases your hourly rate or market value? I didn't focus on 10 different side hustles. That's overclocking, which leads to burnout and sacrifices the hardware, your health and relationships. I focused on one adjacent high-demand skill: data analysis and visualization applied to business strategy. I spent 18 months aggressively learning this skill, proving its worth to my employer, and leveraging that expertise for a significant compensation increase. You need to shift your mental operating system update from being paid for time to being paid for value delivered. Chimmy is linear. Value is exponential. If you can't get a raise at your current role, find a new job that values your updated skill set. Or, better yet, find a fractional consulting role where you offer that specific skill on the side for premium rates. This side income should be treated as pure rocket fuel. 100% of it goes toward debt payoff or savings. Pattern interrupt. I had a friend, Mark, an engineer, who kept complaining about his salary ceiling. He loved vintage cars. He didn't think that was a marketable skill, but he knew how to diagnose electrical problems in older Porsche models perfectly. I convinced him to spend Saturday mornings offering high-end, niche diagnostic services for $200 an hour. That wasn't his full-time job. It was his redundant power supply. It generated $800 to $1,000 a month, entirely dedicated to killing his student loans. What skill do you undervalue that the market desperately needs? By the time you hit $40,000, your debts should be largely neutralized, excluding perhaps a mortgage with a low interest rate. And you should have a 3 to 6 month fully funded financial firewall. You have debugged the system, and your processing power has increased. You are ready for deployment. Phase 3. Scaling in deployment, $40,000 to $100,000. Reaching $40,000 feels different. The system is stable, The psychological burden of the $1,000 emergency buffer is gone. You are now playing offense, not just defense. Phase 3 is about deploying your capital efficiently and scaling your income. The core principle here is automation and systemization. You need to write the wealth algorithm. The biggest difference between high net worth individuals and the merely comfortable is that the wealthy automate their saving and investing first, and then spend what is left. The comfortable spend first, and then try to save what is left, which is usually nothing. Your automated system should operate like this. On payday, 15% to the 20% of your gross income immediately flows out of your checking account into investment vehicles before it even hits your conscious radar. You are paying your future self first. This is crucial because it takes the decision-making process out of the equation. We are all prone to human error and emotional spending. Automation removes the bandwidth constraint of having to decide whether to save every day. Where does this capital go? Since your financial firewall is fully funded, we are moving into the growth stage. This is where we start testing in sandbox mode. Sandbox mode means you allocate a small percentage of your capital, say 5% or 10%, to slightly riskier, higher growth potential assets. But the majority of your capital, the 90%, must be directed toward proven, low-cost, broadly diversified investment vehicles. For hitting $100,000 rapidly, you need aggressive growth, which means leveraging market-based returns. If your employer offers a 401k match, that is free money. Maximize the match immediately. This is the highest guaranteed return you will ever see. After the match, focus on Roth IRAs or traditional brokerage accounts invested heavily in total stock market index funds, BTSA, X, BT. Remember, the power of this system is consistency. You are not waiting for the perfect moment to invest. You are systematically feeding the algorithm on a schedule. This strategy is called dollar cost averaging, and it is the single most effective way to eliminate emotional interference from your investing decisions. Let me be vulnerable here. When I first started investing, I tried to time the market. I'd save up $5,000, wait for a dip, panic when the dip kept dipping, and then miss the rebound. It felt like playing a video game on the hardest difficulty setting, and I was losing. The moment I switched to automated monthly deposits regardless of what the market was doing, was the moment my portfolio stopped feeling like a roller coaster and started feeling like a consistent trajectory. The final element of phase 3 is maintaining the integrity of the system, continuous review. Once a quarter, you must review your automated systems. Are the funds flowing correctly? Are you still carrying any forgotten bloatware subscriptions? Is your redundant power supply side income still optimized for maximum efficiency? A massive pitfall I see people hit between $50,000 and $100,000 is data corruption. Data corruption is when you take investment advice from untrained sources, your cousin who made a killing on one volatile stock, or a self-proclaimed guru on social media pushing leverage to trading schemes. Stick to the proven architecture for the initial phase of wealth building. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Simple, broad, automated, consistent. That is the winning code. Think about this psychological shift that happens when you cross the $100,000 threshold. It's not just the number, it's the moment you realize the money you earned has now generated enough additional money to cover a significant expense in your life. It's validation that your system architecture works. It proves that you can escape the prison of almost enough, pattern interrupt, stop chasing the instant gratification of a new gadget or a lavish dinner. Start chasing the dopamine hit of watching your net worth statement climb. That second type of reward is regenerative. It fuels more growth. The first type is parasitic. It feeds the memory leak. Choose regenerative growth. When I finally crossed $100,000, I didn't feel rich. I felt resilient. I felt like the future was predictable because I had engineered the predictability into the system. This journey from $0 to $100,000 is the hardest part. It requires maximum effort because you are bootstrapping the entire system yourself without the benefit of significant compounding interests. We often talk about the importance of legacy. Most people think legacy is about what you leave behind. I argue that financial legacy is about what you fix now. It's about debugging the negative codes passed down through generations, the fear of debt, the avoidance of investing, the mindset of scarcity. By building this blueprint, you are installing a new, optimized operating system for your entire family line. You are ensuring that your children inherit wealth creation strategies, not wealth destruction habits. To summarize the blueprint, Phase 1, Diagnosis. Identify the memory leaks, eliminate the bloatware, and install the $2,000 Financial Firewall. Stabilize the system. Phase 2, Debugging. Aggressively tackle the legacy code high-interest debt. Simultaneously increase your processing power through high-value skill acquisition, aiming for a 15 to 20% income lift. Fully fund your 3 to 6 month financial firewall. Phase 3, Deployment. Write and execute the wealth algorithm. Automate 15 to 20% saving and investing into low-cost index funds. Resist data corruption. Maintain consistency and scale until you hit the $100,000 MVP. This is not a quick fix. If you do this with discipline, prioritizing debt eradication and income growth, this can be achieved in 36 to 48 months. Depending heavily on your starting income and geographic location, the speed of the result is a function of the intensity of your focused execution. The first $100,000 is the hardest money you will ever make, but it unlocks every other level of wealth. It shifts the burden from your labor to your capital. You start playing a fundamentally different game. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect market conditions. You have the blueprint. The system is waiting for the reboot command. Go execute the code. Start today. If you've made it this far, know that every step of this plan only comes to life when you put it into action. And that's why I'm here, to remind you that you're not alone on this journey. If this video helped you see a clearer path forward, I'd be truly grateful if you'd subscribe to the channel, hit like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your story could inspire someone else to take their first step, too. And by the way, YouTube is already recommending another video for you to keep marathoning hope, wealth. Let's keep building your financial future one step at a time.